Okay, that's what I'm talking about, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Folder. Your host, Ruben, and I really want to thank everybody for tuning in. We have a great, you know, show for you today. It's going to be about veteran struggles and what goes through with all that stuff about veterans and things like that. So, without further ado, just imagine yourself, that you go and you enlist in a branch of the military and you go out there, do your thing, you get called for combat, get deployed for who knows how many times, so you're out there, you get injured or what have you, you come back. And of course, if you've been through this experience or you've done a lot of these deployments and things like that, or even one deployment, you know the effects that it has on you, your family, and basically your life. And it's not good. A lot of times it's not good. A lot of times we have to take the good with the bad, but sometimes it's bad, and you need help. There's no other way of saying it. You need help, and I'm going to be talking about different things. And if I come run short on time, I'm going to go ahead and do another a part two on this because I think this is very important. There's just a lot of things that go into this with veterans not receiving the help that they need, and it's is near and dear to my heart, and I want to push out as much information I can to help or to point people in different directions that they may need. And I'm not gonna say that I'm the best or I know everything or I'm perfect at this, because I'm not, and I have a lot to learn on this. But I had there's been some progress made and things like that, and I just want to give anyone out there that needs help or that knows of someone that needs help getting something started or getting help. Um, I hope that this episode will help you out, and it'll impact you in a positive way, and that way these veterans can get help. So I had the pleasure of talking to one of my good friends, Juan Manuel Perez. I push his Desert Smoke Barbecue on here because like I said, I've known him for a very long time. We go way back. He's a veteran. He's a Desert Storm veteran, and we went on a deployment together. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that everything's just peachy keen and you're gonna go do what you have to do and come back. There's gonna be a lot of things that happen. You're gonna get injured. You're gonna have different issues that come up. And I was fortunate to sit down and talk to him over the phone and kind of get his input on on how it's been for him to get help. And we're talking, when I say get help, I'm talking about the VA. And everybody's like, oh, the VA's bad, and some people are, the VA's good. It's a hit or miss, guys. It really is. It's a hit or miss, because I'm going to go into this a little bit more into detail. But there's guys that have and girls that have been out there, and they've been trying to get help for I don't know how many years, and they still don't have it. But then these fresh recruits coming out of basic training, they get 100% rating because they had a bad time in basic training. And I'm not saying that something didn't happen, but it just kind of, it rubs me the wrong way when I hear of a kid coming out of basic training because they got traumatized because people were yelling at them, or the drill sergeants or the drill instructors were yelling at them, and they couldn't uh, adapt to the military life. So they got some kind of post traumatic stress disorder from that, and it I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, and I'm not saying it's not legit, but it just rubs me the wrong way when there's guys that have been in actual combat and they are not getting the help that they need, or they're getting the runaround and things like that, and that's what kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I'm here to kind of shed light on that. So I was fortunate to sit with my friend Manuel, and I was just asking him some questions about how it's been for him to with this VA process, because he's been through a lot, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details on you know like what happens to him, or whatever, but maybe one day he can be sitting here, or I can go over there and we can have a sit down, and we'll have a an episode on just talking about things and stuff like that, and telling his story, and me telling mine. But for now, we're going to get into this. When you get back, it's hard because there's a lot of times when you have some good leadership, and you always have bad leadership. And like I said, you have to take it with a grain of salt, and you have to listen to, you have orders to follow. But one thing that I don't agree with is when you're coming back from deployment and you've been injured, and you've been injured, is that we we get made to think that if we say anything, or if we even kind of mention that we're hurt or anything, that it makes somebody weak. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you weak because you don't get taken care of, and then you're gonna have a hard time dealing and catching up with all these things when they come up. So you have to go out there, and you have to like tell somebody, hey, you know what, I'm hurt and I need to do this and I need to do that. Another thing is, like, leadership will tell you, if you say anything, then you're not going to be able to go home with us. You're going to have to stay here, and you're going to have to stay here for a longer period of time so you can get your surgery, whether it be surgery, rehabilitation, therapy, or whatever it can be. And they kind of try to tell you, well, it's up to you, but you're not going to go home. And a lot of guys, they've been out there for over a year. Uh, you know, uh, Active duty guys, National Guard guys, reserve guys, especially like reserve, and more National Guard, because they have to do their pre-mob, they have to do their deployment, and then they have to do a demob. These guys, they've been gone over a year, and the last thing they want to do is stay somewhere for another month or two and not see their families or anything. And I get it, and I get it, but you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself right then and there, how are you going to take care of your family? How are you going to take care of yourself? And you have to. It's the whole process is going to be like, it's going to be very hard. And one of the things that Manuel was telling me was that it's hard at first to get your rating. You know, it's very hard because you're sometimes we're inexperienced. We don't know what to do, and that's one of the things that was with me, is that I didn't know what to do. I was new. I didn't ask the right questions. There was no classes given. They was just like just throw you out there after you come back from a deployment and say, hey, you know what? Of course, the one thing they did say is register with the VA, and you have to register with the VA because that's the beginning of everything. So I did that, but then that's where everything just stopped. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't given any guidance. I didn't know like anything. I was so, so new, so green, per se, that I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know what to ask for. I didn't know what I could do. I didn't know what I couldn't do. So I was just kind of going at what I thought was the right thing to do. And of course, Manuel, did the same thing, and it's hard to get a rating at first. And you have so many things that get in your way. You have like you have to come back. You have to like try to catch up with everything with your family. You have to try to kind of like put yourself back into the way of life because while we were gone, we kind of pushed pause over here in the states, and we went to wherever we went. Guys that went to Iraq, Afghanistan. Some of us, when we did Egypt as well. Some guys did Bosnia. And I'm talking about like Vietnam, Desert Storm, any other kind of tour that you have been and you have not, and you had to go for a long period of time. You know what I'm talking about. So we push pause, but it keeps playing over here. And when we come back, we got to kind of like get in and kind of get back into the groove of things, and it's hard. Um, but one of the things you have to do, you have to not give up. You have to keep going, right? So we try to get our ratings through the VA because we need help. A lot of guys need help. Whether it's injury, PTSD, whatever, the TBI, whatever. So we try to get that rating, but it's not as easy as it seems because once we get these appointments set up, it takes a long time for they're like, okay, well, we're going to give you an appointment because of a hurt knee or hurt shoulder or a hurt back. But that appointment can be like 3 months down the road, 4 months down the road, even 6 months down the road. So what do you do in between? There's really like nothing you can do. And that's one of the hardships of all of this is that you have to wait for these appointments. And when they do come, you have to jump on them. You have to jump on them, and you can't waste time in doing that, and it's hard. It's very hard. So you guys, you get that appointment, you need to do whatever you can to get to that appointment. I don't care if it's, you have to get an Uber, you have to ask for a ride. You have to get there because it's very important. Another struggle is that you can't pick your doctors. You can't say, hey, you know what, my foot hurts and I need to go see a specialist. You have to wait for a referral, and those can take weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you're there, suffering, hurting, and things like that. And it's hard to do that. And I'm not saying it's not easy because you have to deal with the pain, you have to do this, and you have to deal with that, and then finally you get your appointment, and then they tell you something that you don't want to hear, or they're too backlogged, or they're backed up, and you can't do anything, and it puts more pressure, and it starts to stress you out. And you have to just keep going. I'm telling you, keep going. You can't pick your doctors. You referrals. You have to have referrals and things like that. But you have to a lot of times we try to get these ratings ourselves because, of course, like I said before, we don't know things, and we're so new and nobody guides us. Everybody's just ready to go home. Boom, leadership goes their way. Guys retire, you never hear from them again, and different things can happen. So we try to get things ourselves, but you got to stay on top of it. Manoa says you have to stay on top of everything, and you have to have your documents, you have to have your medical, you have to have everything that you need to get the rating that you need. And a lot of times, guys, he says you have to go into NCO mode. If you guys are non-commissioned officers, you know what I'm talking about. You have to go straight into NCO mode. Like, hey, you know what? This is what you're going to do for me, and this is what I'm going to do for you. We're going to make it happen. So go. You got it? And you have to get into that mentality, like, I need to get these things done because nobody else is going to do it for me. Get into that NCO mode. You get out there and you do it, because there's a lot of things that you can do that the VA does not tell you that you can do. You have a lot of power as a veteran through the VA to do a lot of things. Like, they can't just come in and keep doing, one thing over and over and over and over again. Like, if you have a busted up knee, they're going to keep on giving you x-rays after x-ray after x-ray after x-ray, for 10, 15, 20 years, and it's not going to show nothing. You go in there and you tell them, you know what, I need an MRI, I demand an MRI, and they have to give it to you. They cannot prevent you from getting it, because if you've been getting the x-rays, the same x-rays on the same knee, on the same shoulder, on the same back, and you get the results that's, oh, there's nothing wrong with you, then why are you hurting? Why are you in such pain all the time? You're in chronic pain all the time. So why is it still hurting if the x-ray is showing nothing? No, demand that MRI, guys, girls, demand that MRI, and you get it. It doesn't matter if it's backed up, if it's 2 or 3 months down the road. You get that MRI and you get it done, and they're gonna find stuff that's wrong with you, and then it's a whole different other level. Okay, so you have to get on top of it. Go into NCO mode, and it's not as hard as it used to be, back then, because of course we get more experience. We go into the VA. You have to listen. You have to listen to I call them these old timers that you go in there, and these are the our brothers and sisters that went to overseas before we were even born, before our parents, some of our parents were even born. And you have to listen to them because they know the system. They've been going through this for a long time, and they know how to do things. They know how to get things done. They know what steps to take and things. So just when you get your appointments, you go and you just sit down and you just listen. And that's what we had to do. That's what I had to do. I would go in there and just sit down to all these old military guys just sitting there and talking about things, like, comparing notes, comparing appointments and things like that. And you get things, talk to a veteran out there. It doesn't hurt for you to, if you're at the grocery store, if you're at a gas station, because I've done this plenty of times. I see somebody with a, retired veteran, retired, whatever, it can be from any branch. Like, hey, sir, do you mind if I ask you a question? And say, how are you with the VA? How did you do this? How did you do that? And believe me, they're going to share with you, because the last thing that they want is to keep everything to themselves. Because if they were really good NCOs, really good leaders, they're going to sit down and they're going to talk to you for a whole minute, and they're going to tell you, this is what you got to do. And they're going to tell you how to do it, because it was hard for them to begin with, and now they know the process, and they're going to give it to you, and they're going to give you all this knowledge. So take it, run with it, keep it, and do it. There's nothing wrong with sitting there and just talking to somebody. If you overhear somebody talking about, two guys talking about, certain things, and the military, that they're retired, hey, sir, I don't mean to interrupt you, or ma'am, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm getting out, or I have this problem, and I need guidance. Boom, it's there. Like I said, if they were good leaders in the military, they're going to be good leaders now, and they're going to hook you up, they're going to tell you, and take that knowledge and you run with it. So it's a little bit easier now, because there's you know let me backtrack a little bit. So you come back and you get into these things, and of course there's a lot of denials, when we do our claims and stuff like that through the VA, and it can be very frustrating. But one of the things that Manuel was telling me is that his wife helped him out a lot when he was discouraged. She was motivating him, she was pushing him to do things, and she went through a lot, just like with him, because he said, you sit there and the wives, spouses, girlfriends, they go through that, with with their soldier, the Marine, their or whatever, whatever branch they're from, they go through that with them. So for her to be pushing him and encouraging him to do that, that helped him out a lot, and finally, he's to where he needs to be now, and that's good. And, and I applaud him for that because it took him a long time to do that, and that's what I want for everybody else. I want to applaud you as well so you can get to where you need to be. And it's a little bit easier now because, of course, you get more experience and there's more help out there. And, there's still, a lot of guys that, I spoke with a representative of a veteran service office, and she was telling me that, believe it or not, that there are a lot of older veterans that still don't know the process of how to put in a claim, and these are guys that were in Vietnam, Desert Storm, and I think that's very sad because they don't know the process, and to me, I think they went through a lot more than I did. And a lot of us, they went through a lot more than a lot of us did. And I think it's sad that they don't know the process of it and they're not getting the help that they need. And it's very sad for me to say there and to hear that. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want, these guys and girls to get the help that they need. So the Veteran Service Office is there to help you. And it's just so awesome because I started using them when I couldn't do anything else myself, and it took me a long time, guys. It took me about more than 10 years to be doing stuff with the VA, through the VA, doing my appointments, doing this, doing that, getting my claims denied. And it was just a big stressful thing until finally, of course, uh, I had some things done, and you know, and now I'm kind of to where the point I'm okay, but I know there's more that I can do, and the Veteran Service offices helped me. They were amazing. These guys are veterans. These guys and girls are veterans, so they know the struggle. They know what the deal is. And I'm not saying that they're gonna do everything for you. They're not gonna tell you how to, hey, this is what you gotta say and this and that. No, but they're gonna make sure that they do everything they can to help you get that claim in. So you need to go out there and you need to get what's yours. Don't you know you have to, if you're injured, you need to get your stuff done. All right. So first thing you need to do is register with the VA. Of course, we know that. That's simple. Walk into the VA, say, hey, I need to register because I'm new. You're gonna get pointed in the right direction. You go over there. Be sure to take if you have your DD 214 handy, take it with you. Take your military ID if you have it, driver's license. You go up there and you register. They'll assign you a doctor, and then they'll make you an appointment. You go in there and you tell them, hey, you tell them what's wrong with you. Hey, my hands hurt, I can't hear right, my eyes hurt, whatever problem that you had, that you got during the time that you were in the military, you tell them that. I don't care if it's like, hey, my nails hurt, my hair hurts, my hair didn't hurt before I entered the military. You let them know, and they'll document it down. They have to document it down, and that'll start a paper trail, guys. You need to start that paper trail, and that's very important because that's going to dictate how everything flows. So you go register at the VA, you get your assigned doctor, you do that, and then here's where the appointments start. Okay, so you register with them. Okay, so if you can't, if you don't know how to start a claim, if you can't or you don't know how, the VSO will help you start a claim. These guys, they go to a lot of events, they do a lot of things. They're always out, trying to help veterans better themselves through the VA system and things like that. Like I said, they're not going to do everything for you. They're not going to just sit there and hold your hand and do it, because you have to do a lot of the work. You have to do the majority of the work. They're there to just guide you. They're there to do paperwork for you. They're there to not even to be like a mediator. They're just there to push paperwork and 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 to help guide you in another area, that in what area you need to take. So you need to do the work for yourself, because the more work you put in, the better results you're going to have, and that's because you want it. Because they have plenty to do. They are so backlogged. They're trying to help people, and it's and I just find that they're amazing. They're amazing people. Especially out here in Bell County, they have an awesome team out here, and it's they are. I'm telling you, they're good. They're very good, and but they have a lot of stuff to do. So you have to do a lot of the work too. You have to do your homework. You have to do everything. You have to go to your appointments. Like I said, you have to go to your appointments. So get that done. Go to the events. They'll start the claim right there on site. Just go out there and do it. Whenever you say, "Hey, VSO is going to be over here," go out there. If you know somebody that needs to do it, go out there. Take it. So if you know there's just so much other stuff that we can do, that we can find out. But we need to stay strong. We need to get out there. We need to move. We need to get this stuff going. We need to get all the help that we can get out there. Okay. So if these the VSOs, they don't have a lot of funding, for to have more people on some of the teams, and they need more funding, and the only way that we can do it is that we need to be a voice for them, like they're a voice for us. Call your congressman and say, hey, you know what? I'm a veteran, and the veteran service offices, they're doing a great job, but there needs to be more. Tell them so they can fund them, so they can start helping our brothers and sisters. You know, if you're a coordinator, get the VSOs out there, get them involved, in some of your events and things like that. They'll be more than happy to go out there. So let's do it. Let's get out there. And on that note, I know I did this. This was fast and furious. And please, if you have any questions or if you have anything that you need, to ask, please reach out to the folder.podcast76@gmail.com. That again is the folder.podcast76@gmail.com. Give me your questions. I'll get them answered. And guys, I'm all in it for veterans. Let's do it. Let's get the help. And I'm there when you guys need me. So November 11th, the VSO is gonna be out there in Belton, Texas, at the Harley Davidson shop. So if you know anybody that needs claims, you send them out there, and they're gonna be there on November 11th. Go out there. They'll have a rep out there, and they'll start claims right there on site. So don't miss that opportunity, guys. Don't miss it. Okay, so that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Like I said, if we need to do another one, we will do another one. Just let me know, and we'll get it done. So next episode will be called Small Business Glue. Small businesses run the country, so we're gonna do it on that. So now for business plugs, Tex American Flooring Co. Carpet, uh, plank, any kind of flooring, backsplashes, and things like that, you give Maurice a call at 254-226-1695. He's a great guy. Great customer service, great knowledge on products, and give him a call. You have any kind of remodel that you're doing, you have a lot just stuff that you busted out of the house, you have trash in there, you have just old things you need to get rid of, call my friend Patrick at Roll Away Junk, 254-500-8600, and he'll take care of all that stuff. He'll take it away, and you won't have to lift a finger. He'll take it straight to the dump, and he'll do everything for you. Great guy. Give Patrick a call. Of course, Desert Smoke Barbecue out of Abilene, Texas, with Juan Manuel Perez. If you have any kind of catering needs or anything like that, you can give him a call at 325-333-3292, or you can reach him at Melman, Melman 63002 at Gmail for all your catering needs. Last but not least, reach out to my friend Jason out there at Barbell County Fitness out there in Temple, Texas. Man, I'm telling you, you go in there to change your body and physique, you're going to come out with a changed soul, because this guy, he gets on it, and he's not only going to provide your body full of health and everything, he's going to give your food, give your soul the food that it needs. Give Jason a call at 254-217-1304. That way you can not only change your body, but you can change your whole life. And with that, everybody, I thank you for listening to this episode. It was very important. I know it was fast. We have to do another one. If we have to do something else, we'll do it. Just let me know again on the folder.podcast76 at gmail.com. Let me know and we'll get this done. And with that, I bid you good night. Remember, stay 80s and God bless.